you think wins in a fight, you or Prime Floyd?
Me?
No questions?
Oh, why would you think that I would say Floyd?
Not another guy in the world that can beat you right now. That's Mayweather level. Head to head at their welterweight primes, Bud versus Floyd. I feel like a lot of us might actually be picking Bud right now. But what he achieved, I cannot put him above Mayweather or Pacquiao because he got these opportunities so late.
This is the problem with Bud's career, right? It bloomed kind of late.
Bud's been the best man for 12 years, but no one gave him credit because he didn't go tell you he was the best man. He didn't market that. He just went out and fought and beat people and knocked people out. So he had to move up and take the...
In a firm response to Floyd Mayweather's claim that he could defeat him, Terence Crawford stated that he would beat Mayweather even if Floyd were in his prime. Crawford emphasized that history will remember him for accepting every challenge. He insisted that no one could accuse him of avoiding opponents because he has always fought whoever stepped forward. Crawford made it clear that he would not shy away from Mayweather if a bout were ever made possible.
Like this, and then that's when Floyd started taking over.
What do you want your legacy to be like when your career is all said and done? What do you want people to remember you for?
Oh man, everybody's asking me the question. I always be like, man, it's whatever it's their opinion. Everybody gonna have a different opinion of Terence Crawford, you know. But one thing they can't say is that I ducked anyone. You know, I fought everyone that was available to fight.
Terence Crawford's forceful demolition of Canelo Alvarez has sparked passionate disagreement among boxing fans. Fans and commentators eagerly compared his triumph to Floyd Mayweather's victory over Canelo. While Mayweather's win came when Canelo was younger and less experienced, Crawford's dominance over a more seasoned version of the Mexican star has led some to question whether Crawford should be considered superior. However, Luke Thomas reminded fans that Crawford's career developed considerably later than Mayweather's. Floyd had already established himself as a celebrity at a young age, fighting top-tier opponents early in his career. Crawford, on the other hand, has been delayed in obtaining the spotlight due to a lack of promotion and recognition. Thus, his prime moments are coming later. For this reason, Thomas contends that even if Crawford's victory over Canelo was more impressive in execution, it does not automatically elevate him above Floyd historically, as timing and career trajectory are important considerations in such comparisons.
Do now, like what's the next thing that he does? Because you look around and go, is the only way that he really gets that, maybe that ultimate chance if he goes up again? And do you say, you know, what do you do?
I don't quite. Yeah, I mean, you know, he was asked those questions at the press conference. He made two things clear. One, he's not going back to 154, and I say that because some people suggested about possibly pursuing a fight with Ennis, who has his debut in the weight class coming up.
Yeah.
That's probably unlikely. He's not going to go back down in weight. And I mean, no disrespect to Ennis, but Ennis is a guy that's known within the diehards of boxing. He's not in any way known beyond the boundaries of the hardcore boxing fan. So yeah. I don't know if that makes sense for a lot of different reasons for him. Not to say I wouldn't, as a boxing fan, enjoy watching the fight. So, yeah. But I don't think he's going back to 154. He was asked about like a Benavides at 175, and he acknowledged like that guy's really big. I mean, that's maybe a bridge too far. He already went up to 2 weight classes to fight Canelo at 68. So it feels to me like he could either stay at 168 and defend this championship and look to the same types of names that were being thrown around as the types of guys that would have been in the mix for Canelo had he won the fight. And, you know, he's going to have mandatories. Obviously, that's the first thing they'll have to look at. I mean, I don't know if he's not going to necessarily keep the belts if he's forced into a mandatory. He doesn't need the belts at this point, but there might be something appealing to him. You know, for example, you know, and Billy had a great fight on the undercard, although he's been ordered to fight a rematch in that fight. Mm-hmm. That was, you know, fight of the year against Lester Martinez, candidate for fight of the year.
Buddy McGirt was among Crawford's most ardent admirers following the Canelo bout, calling his performance one of complete dominance. According to McGirt, Crawford controlled the fight from the start, never allowing Canelo to set the tempo or impose his usual aggressive style. He underlined that Crawford's triumph was so decisive that a rematch was unnecessary, as the difference in skill and execution was obvious to everyone watching. McGirt also stated that Crawford has finally achieved the legacy he has sought for years by decisively defeating a boxer of Canelo's caliber. Crawford's career now includes a signature win that confirms his greatness in the eyes of fans and historians alike. McGirt concluded that Crawford has nothing left to prove, He has written his chapter, and his victory over Canelo confirms his status as a boxing icon.
A masterclass. One guy with outrageous skill offensively and defensively, simply making another very good fighter look lesser than. This was the other part. The people who watch MMA and then try to watch boxing through an MMA lens, I don't know what to tell you. You're actually missing the point. The kind of specific details and the depth of the technical ability far surpasses even what you can get at the highest level of MMA, because they don't have that level of skill. There is no equivalent in MMA to Bud Crawford, because there cannot be. Bud is the most talented boxer I've seen since Mayweather.
I think Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather.
To be fair to Floyd, he obviously had hand problems in his whole welterweight run, and it's why he took that long stretch off in 2007, 2008, 2009 area, and Floyd's brilliance to be able to be just as great in some ways at that age. We're not here trying to dunk on Floyd. When you get a victory like this, right now, straight up, Luke, you could say that there's not a welterweight, junior middleweight, or maybe even super middleweight. When you could say over like a 4-division stretch, but cut down to any of these weights, that there's not another guy in the world that can beat you right now, that's Mayweather level. Head to head at their welterweight primes, Bud versus Floyd, I feel like a lot of us might actually be picking Bud right now. But what he achieved, I cannot put him above Mayweather or Pacquiao, because he got these opportunities so late.
This is the problem with Bud's career, right? It bloomed kind of late. I find Bud to be as defensively sound as I've ever seen a fighter. He can find you. There's nowhere to hide with him.
Like Floyd, he has such control over the terms in there. It's just insane.
When comparing Terence Crawford to Floyd Mayweather, observers frequently point to Floyd's mental game as the deciding factor that keeps him one step ahead. Many believe Crawford is technically great, able to switch stances, adjust mid-fight, and break down opponents with ease. However, they suggest that Mayweather had an additional layer of psychological control, making him far more dangerous. Floyd not only fought physically, but also influenced his opponents' minds, causing them to make mistakes and abandon their game plans. This ability to dominate before and during the fight is seen as the primary difference between the two. Crawford's skill set is unquestionable, but the air of control and psychological warfare that Floyd brought to each contest is what elevated him in the eyes of many boxing historians. The comparison shows how close Crawford is to being listed alongside Floyd, as well as how Floyd's technique retains its unique mental depth.
Like, what fight were they watching?
Right.
I mean, it's. I don't know, man. I don't know what some of these guys be doing in this game, man. Some people, in situations like that, they should ask them, listen, just turn in your license, bro. Because there's no way in hell the fight was that close.
Right.
I mean, come on, man. It's just, it's not fair. It's not fair. You get a guy like Terence got here and dominate from beginning to end, and then you find out he needed the last 2 rounds to win. That's scary, man.
It is. And you see how you just mentioned scary. Now, a lot of people are saying, buddy, that type of beating, he's not going to want a rematch. But looking at those scorecards and knowing that, hey, you wasn't too far behind, even though, he did mention that, he's better than Mayweather. But, I mean, what's your thoughts? Do you feel like that was such a beating that Canelo wouldn't want a rematch?
No, I think that, in all honesty, personally, I think that Canelo's at that stage in his career right now, that it's a rematch he don't need. He don't need it. You know what I mean? What we saw that night, that's the stage Canelo's at right now. I mean, he's fought everybody, he's did everything, but, you know what I mean? He passed the torch to the right guy. You know what I mean? He passed the torch to the right guy. You know what I mean? He lost it to Terence fair and square, and he passed the torch. So, you're going to have another fight, cool, but you don't need to. He has nothing to prove. He fought Terence and nobody else would.
Terence Crawford has been demonstrating his abilities for nearly a decade, but his low-key personality and lack of flamboyance have caused him to be overlooked by many in the boxing community. Unlike fighters who rely on overt self-promotion and theatrics, Crawford has preferred to let his performances speak for themselves inside the ring. While this approach earned him respect among purists, it cost him widespread recognition in his early career. It is only now, after major fights against Errol Spence Jr. and Canelo Alvarez that the general public is starting to recognize his talent. However, detractors believe this acknowledgement comes too late, as Crawford is already well into his career and closer to the end than the beginning. While he may continue to add to his accomplishments, the window for creating a long-lasting mainstream legacy is closing, prompting some to question how his career would have been perceived if he had received more attention much earlier.
Hearns, Leonard, and Marvin Hagler. Like I've seen all those things, and those fights were wars. Floyd Mayweather is the best boxer I've ever seen. He's the most skilled boxer I've ever seen. Bud, and this is just my opinion, is the baddest man I've seen wear boxing gloves. And here's why I say that. RC. Here's why I say that. Bud is extremely skilled, right? Yet not as skilled as Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather made people look foolish, right? And so if I had to say who's the greatest I've seen, and Bud said it right, the best of an era and the best of an era, it's Floyd. But when I watched Bud against Canelo, there was this extreme skill on display, and there was a level of crazy that's different. There was a level of, and Floyd's extremely tough. Go back to Shane Mosley and the 2 punches he landed early in the fight and the way that he embarrassed him. I'm not saying that Floyd's not tough, Floyd's not a bad man, but there was domination inside that ring we saw this weekend. And there's no fear in him in the way that he's attacked gaining notoriety. Bud's been the baddest man for 12 years. But no one gave him credit because he didn't go tell you he was the baddest man. He didn't market that. He just went out and fought and beat people and knocked people out. So he had to move up and take the bigger fights and the better fights. And he was.
Floyd Mayweather has often been criticized for his refusal to acknowledge other great boxers, frequently declining to agree that Muhammad Ali, widely regarded as the greatest of all time, ranks above him. With Terence Crawford achieving feats comparable to Floyd's, suspicions about Mayweather's ego have resurfaced. Crawford's stunning victory over Canelo has ignited debate that threatens to elevate him to the same historical status as Floyd. For someone as sensitive about his legacy as Mayweather, this development is difficult to accept. Critics claim that Floyd thrives on being seen as the sole standard of boxing brilliance. When another fighter begins to occupy that space, it damages his pride. This sense of jealousy suggests that Floyd cannot stand the thought of anyone being honored on his level, causing friction in how he publicly responds to Crawford's rise.
He was. Canelo cemented him on what is the two-headed monster that marks the greatest of the 2000s. Floyd Mayweather is on that, and Bud Crawford is right next to him. I don't think we have to pick on who's better. I think they both dominated their era.
Sean Porter spoke with Terence Crawford about what motivated him to take on challenges that others thought he couldn't handle. Crawford admitted that for years, people questioned him and believed he was incapable of competing at the highest level. Instead of avoiding the pressure, he welcomed it and looked for ways to prove them wrong. His victories over Spence and Canelo are not just career landmarks, but also personal vindications, ending years of doubt and contempt.
With Floyd Mayweather Jr., and you know Floyd Mayweather Jr. doesn't like that. Floyd Mayweather Jr. is one of the biggest egos in the sport, so much so that he could not find a way to give Muhammad Ali credit as being a top 5 fighter and claimed that Roberto Duran sits above Muhammad Ali, right? Why? Because Floyd wants to be better than Muhammad Ali. He completely redid his image when he became Money Mayweather to pretty much copy from calling himself the GOAT, calling himself TBE, right? Whole thing. very disrespectful of Muhammad Ali when he was coming up, when after Floyd Mayweather Jr. wound up being at the top of the sport. So now that Terence Crawford has firmly placed himself at the top of boxing, and not just as the pound for pound fighter right now, many people are saying, hey, shouldn't he be considered one of the greatest fighters of all time? Isn't this a realistic conversation we can have? So what does that do? That butts Terence Crawford right up against Floyd Mayweather. So when Floyd was asked a series of questions, right? Because Floyd has a fight coming up. I do believe it maybe in January. I think it may be in January or early 2026, I believe is the time frame, where Floyd Mayweather Jr. is going to be fighting Mike Tyson in I believe this.
Porter emphasized Crawford's determination to face adversity head-on, illustrating his unique fighting mindset. Unlike others who might have taken easier roads, Crawford aggressively targeted the most difficult opponents, wanting to prove that he belonged among the best. This approach has propelled him into the debate of all-time greats, ensuring that his legacy will be characterized not only by talent, but also by perseverance and tenacity.
He wants you to. And, you know what I mean? That's how it was.
I know, I'm sorry. I know this is bad production, but we're going to need you to turn that phone to the side. I know, I'm thinking about Happy right now. I'm like, he know better. That's better. That's better. Go ahead, Ant. Go ahead.
Hey, but you know how, man. We know me and Sean. We know you personally. I had people telling me, "Nah, man, this is just a money grab. He just went up there for the money." I said, "Man, if you know this dude, but eventually, bro, I put you in the same category as Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. I'm like, he wants to be great. Y'all want the money, but I want to be great. Where that come from, man?"
It's just me, you know what I mean? Like, I think all the greats is just born with that competitiveness, you know? And like I said, you know, a lot of people, they didn't want me to accomplish the feat over Canelo. It wasn't that it wasn't possible. They didn't want me to be the one to do it because I was the one that they was blackballing for years. I was the one that they said, you know, wasn't gonna make it to this table. I was the one that they said couldn't sell. I was the one that they said, you know, made bad business decisions. So of course they don't want me to be the one to make it to the top.